returning to the show today, playing Kung Lao in the new Mortal Kombat movie, Max Huang. Max, thank you so much for coming back to the Kung Fu Driving Podcast.
Thank you, man. It's been a while. Thanks for having me again. Awesome.
It's great to have you back. Mortal Kombat, it has been an amazing journey so far, I'm sure. Let me know, though, how is the film being received by the general public?
That's a good question. I think overall, very positive from what I've read. And, obviously there are always people who criticize things. I'm quite happy with the result and what we have accomplished. So yeah, man, it's awesome because we're right now #1 at the box office in the States and I think worldwide as well. So it's just amazing to be part of a project like this. And who would have known? I mean, that a small kid from Germany, would one day be in a Hollywood film. So yeah, it's been a journey, and a journey's not over yet. It's just starting. So
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of that, what was it like having to make this film with the pandemic hanging over you guys? Because it's a phenomenal accomplishment to be #1 at the box office, given what we're going through right now. So what was it like for you having to work and film in this?
Well, we shot the big chunk of it before the pandemic hit us. So that was a blessing and also an advantage because, I've seen other films, they had to stop shooting because the pandemic just hit them. And so we were really lucky with the time frame that we hit. We did a couple of reshoots last year when the COVID virus was it's still there. So yeah, we didn't get affected too much by it, and that was great.
Good. Now, you did mention that were probably some detractors in the fan base there. Were those detractors that rabid Mortal Kombat fan base?
I think Mortal Kombat, the fan base they're pretty hardcore, like they're straight to the point. But that's one thing I really appreciate, because that way, as a filmmaker, as an actor, you get the feedback like straight into your face, basically, right? And so I think as an actor or a filmmaker, it's part of the job to work with that, because you give something and then you receive something, right? That's kind of what it is. But man, I'm cool with it because for Kung Lao, the reviews and the comments have been like absolutely 100% positive. I haven't received one comment that was like in any way negative. So if you hear this, don't do it on purpose. Don't send me. You don't want to be the first one. So yeah, obviously no movie is perfect, right? And we all know that. I think what we did with this one is we tried to set the tone for something that we can build up on in the future. And for the next one, if we will get the opportunity, we of course we will try to make it even better. So for this one, I think everyone just put their heart and soul into this project, and you can also, that's one of the things that you can, I think, tell from the film, that all of the actors, the director, the producer, they were so much involved with their whole heart and into this project. So if we get another chance to do a second one, or maybe build a whole universe, then we will always give our best and learn from mistakes we made and try to make it even better in the future.
Absolutely. I don't doubt that it'll continue to get better and better. And I do hope you had the opportunity to do sequels. This movie was fun. It was raw. It was really good. And I do enjoy your performance quite a lot. So tell me that, how excited were you to become a part of the Mortal Kombat universe when you found out you were going to do it?
It was, honestly, I was so in shock because at that time, I don't know when I last talked to you, but after, like before I got the role, I was kind of in a state where it didn't went the way I wanted it to go with my career, and because I wanted to um, well, I made a decision to become a professional actor and move away from the stunts,
Right, I remember. Yeah.
because I do really respect, you know, stunts and that whole department. It's just a choice personally for me that I made because I wanted to pursue, you know, a career in front of the camera. So that wasn't easy because obviously, you know, some people in the business, they would think, oh, because you have that background, you cannot do this, or you get kind of stigmatized, and you know. So to get out of that was quite a task. Um, Eventually it worked out, as we know right now. But and then also in my personal life, you know, I had a girlfriend who broke up, and then I didn't have the opportunities for the right acting gig at that time,
Oh man.
and I was kind of lost in that space. I really didn't know what to do, and I made, when I was really young already, I made a promise to myself that if I hit 30 and I haven't made it yet as an actor, at least being in one feature film with a role that is worth talking about, then I would just do something else. I would
Wow.
pursue another career, because I think I'm that kind of person who goes all in. Once I made a decision, then I just do that, and I just focus on that and give it 100%. So yeah, I added pressure to myself from a young age already on, because I think it's partly because I grew up in Germany, and watching kids from China training in martial arts from such a young age, I was always like, as a kid already, I was like, oh my God, wow, they're so much better. They're so good. Like, okay, if I really want to have a career in martial arts as a martial arts actor, I need to work twice as hard. I need to train twice as much. So from an early age on, there was this kind of pressure. and 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 just when I hit 30, I received the call, like not on the day, but like somewhere in that period.
That's amazing.
And that felt like a relief, to be honest, because I mean, up until now, I still, you know, I think I work the best with being under pressure. That's just who I am. But I felt like the easiness coming in, and then, you know, once I got the job, I just immediately went to work, and I did research on a character, and I prepared, and physically, but also, you know, did a lot of research on Mortal Kombat and the whole game and everything, and I just went from there, and yeah, that's kind of the story.
That's a lot of pressure to put on yourself, but that's an amazing story of
Mm.
perseverance and really just kind of believing in your ability and sticking to that path. So congratulations, because that's a hell of a role to be the role that cements your path.
Thank you. Well, I think, you know, frankly speaking, I think if you don't believe in yourself, who will? You know,
Yeah.
if you have to be the center of gravity, you know, because like it has to come from within you, otherwise it will not happen. At least I believe so. um yeah, it's strange, man. There's this kind of energy that I feel is inside me that wants me to always push to the next thing and get better. I think that's the ultimate goal, is to try to always grow and expand and get better and learn more. So I don't think of it as, okay, I've achieved this thing, now I stop, right? Now I just lay back and relax. It's totally not that. Actually, once I receive something, I immediately want to do the next thing. So that's kind of like the whole energy that I have. I don't know.
No, it's good. It's exciting energy. But now you mentioned that you had to do some research. Were you familiar with Kung Lao before you got the role?
I was familiar, but not that much, to be honest. I knew Liu Kang, I knew the 95 film, but in the 95 film, there was no Kung Lao, right?
Right.
So only if you're a real fan of Mortal Kombat, you know all the characters. And I knew that he was existing, but I didn't, I was not like that much into it at that time. So yeah, once I got the role, I bought the game MK11, and I just researched and researched, and I found so many similarities. That's like another thing, right? That feels like a blessing, is that Kung Lao's fighting character, fighting style, is very like we share a lot of similarities from the get-go. When I started to get into the martial arts, I did a year of Wing Chun. So within that year, I learned like the basics. So the
Cool.
basic punching, blocking, and the forms. Um, and then I went to, I went to compete actually later on in like Southern Wushu, like Kung Fu styles. Um, and within that style, you have a lot of tiger, crane, like Honga, Choi Li Fat, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Short movements, but like powerful, right? And man, when I saw Kung Lao in the game, I was like, that's exactly what I'm doing. Like, what's going on? Even the head throw, like I've been doing the similar kind of movement without throwing head, but just like emulating as if I would hit someone. Like those movements I had already studied, and it was a huge advantage because it saved a lot of time for me to not having to learn too much new things, but to actually just try to make what I have had already better, you know.
Yeah.
So
Now
yeah.
there's a story that you performed some trick, some cool move for, I think, the director or the producer. I'm not sure, so I'm gonna need you to explain it to me. But you demoed some kind of move, and they were like, "Man, that's amazing. We have to put that into the movie."
Yeah, probably didn't only happen one time. You know, I like to just, when I'm on the set, I like to give suggestions and like my input, and I'm very grateful that Simon, the director, was had such an open ear to what I was saying. I think it was the probably the opening, the entrance scene of Kung Lao,
Yeah.
where he comes in with like a spinning jump kick, and it must have been that. I'm not sure, but yeah, I remember doing it on the day, and I mean, no wires or anything, right? Just like that. And I think probably it was that one, that kick, where they went like, okay, let's take that.
All right, that's cool. Now, then let's go back then. So, how did you become involved with the film in the first place? Because you talked about being this kid from Germany and you wanted to be in the movies somehow. So you left stunts. You want to be an actor, and this is where you landed in and around your 30th birthday. So, how did you become involved with Mortal Kombat?
Do you mean the casting process and?
Yeah, yeah, that whole thing.
Uh Funny, I was on Facebook, I remember, and there was this news. Okay, they're shooting Mortal Kombat in Australia, and I had just a couple of years ago finished on a film called Bleeding Steel,
Yeah.
where I was directing the action, and then we shot parts of that in Australia. So I had some contacts of people who work in the film industry over there, and I immediately reached out to them, and I was like, oh, is there like, do you guys know anything about the casting? And because I would love to be on that movie, I would love to audition for it. But they didn't know. So what actually happened was I went to America for the first time in my life, um, to find representation as an actor.
Cool.
Actually, I have to give props to my mom because she pushed me to do it. She was
Oh,
like,
nice.
"You have to go now because otherwise you're getting too old. You have to, because I was always working a lot in China, so and then she was like, no man, you have to now try the other market, try America. So what happened is I bought a ticket without knowing anyone there, and then I still had like one or two contacts who helped me um, to meet some people. And one of the guys was a producer who I met, and then he, we had a coffee in LA, and he was like, you're like mixed guy, you're not Asian but European. Like, I don't know if there's anything for you here, because you gotta be either or, you gotta. I was like, no man, I came here for a reason, because I have a message to tell. And I told him that I want to bring back the spirit of martial arts into the movies.
Awesome.
And because I think, and that's still my goal, and what I pursue today, is to fill martial arts films with the spirit and the meaning of it, rather than just performing a couple of movements.
That's great.
Because anyone can do that today. You see like people on Instagram doing like 720 or even triple backflip. I don't know, but it's crazy, right? So in terms of athleticism, there's like no limit at the moment. So but people forget about sharing the message, and putting it into incorporating it into a good story, and all of that. So well, I told him all of that, and right away he picked up his phone and he introduced me to another director who I met 2 hours later. And then this guy helped me to sign up with a management in LA. So they then, put me out for a couple of castings, and then ultimately I auditioned for Mortal Kombat back in Germany. And well, at first it didn't work out because I was auditioning for Liu Kang.
All right.
And so life went on, and I wasn't thinking about it anymore until they called me one night, and said, well, we went back into the library of auditioning tapes, and we had to find this last character, Kung Lao, and the director thinks that you really fit this role. So it was like a miracle.
Wow.
Like last minute, because that was the last character that they were casting.
Wow. What a great story. And so indirectly, you have to thank your mom for Kung Lao.
Very much. I have to thank my mom for everything, because she's always, because I come from a family of just musicians and artists, and my mom is a voice coach and also an actress. So she really always supports me with my decision making and gives me good advice, and kind of like a manager already. But yeah, I'm very thankful for her support. Yeah.
That's great though, to have that support in your corner, because particularly in your industry where it's full of rejection and backstabbing and that kind of stuff. So, to have that in your corner to keep pushing you to make the good decisions and the right choices.
Oh,
Good for you
definitely.
and good for her, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so lucky because it gave me like growing up, like I said, in like a family of artists, gave me a very, very good foundation to kind of be free with what I do, because I think if you grow up in another scenario when you know, your parents, they don't really know what you're doing, or they don't support it or don't accept it, it must be quite hard to break out of that. So it's definitely an advantage. um yeah,
Did
just
she support your martial arts studies in the early days too?
yeah, I think my mom didn't really know what martial arts was. I started like, probably like other parents too, like, okay, they're probably just fighting, or I don't know. Once I showed her, you know, the black and white tapes of Bruce Lee talking, and she was listening to all the philosophical aspects. She was like, wow, okay, now I get it. And so from then on, she was being very supportive. I mean, my dad is partly the reason why I started martial arts, because he introduced me to the Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan films from an
Of
early age.
course.
Yeah. So
All right, then that speaking of the martial arts, then and bringing that the meaning to it, the
mhm.
martial arts talent in Mortal Kombat is literally off the charts. It's crazy how much talent you guys assembled for that film. What did that bring to the whole production, and were you able to do what you want to do and kind of incorporate some of the meaning of the martial arts into all of that?
I think so. I think so. Speaking for myself, um, there are actually some of the scenes that haven't been used in the final version, where Kung Lao is sharing a lot of uh, philosophy, martial arts philosophy with the audience. But it was probably the right decision to cut it out from the film because of the storytelling aspect. Yeah, but even without the scene, I think sometimes it's not so much about the dialogue and what you're saying, more than how you say it, right?
Sure.
So the whole overall character of Kung Lao, I mean, his whole appearance, I wanted it to be to make the audience feel like, oh, okay, this is a guy who embodies martial arts. So yeah, kind of like getting the message across without talking too much. um,
Sure.
yeah, and then with the fighting, I mean, look, I would always love to do more, right? So I hope we hopefully get a sequel, or even, I don't know, a spin-off or something, where we can show that Kung Lao is doing even more and have more fight scenes and have more dialogue and all of that. Yes,
Yeah,
anytime.
yeah, for sure. And what was it like then playing off of all of those other guys in the film? Again, all martial artists, all really super skilled, and that had to be a kind of environment where you guys fed off of each other's energy to just keep pushing the martial arts higher and higher.
Yeah, yeah, you know, it was so great to talk to all these guys, because after, you know, every not every night, but um sometimes after filming, we would meet up all in the hotel room, and we would sit together and watch like our favorite fight scenes from all sorts of martial arts films,
Nice.
and we would have discussions hours long about what is a good fight scene, what is a bad fight scene, what makes a good film, what makes a bad film. And having that conversation with people who understand what it's about, that was, it was amazing. It was
Yeah.
amazing. Finally, you feel like, oh, there's someone out there who thinks the same, you know? And it was great having that conversation. But yeah, you're right. I mean, there's so many talented people in that film, like Joe Taslim, for example, or Hiroyuki Sanada, or
Yeah.
you know, they all great.
That's fantastic. What was the training like then with you guys to stay ready and stay um, in fighting form for Mortal Kombat?
Um, well, luckily at that time I was in Beijing, China, and um, Jackie Chan does have like the biggest training
Yeah,
facility
yeah.
over there. So yeah, I was there training for like 2 months, I think, before the production started. Um, and then once I arrived, there was another martial arts teacher, um, Nino Pilla from Australia, who his background is like Jeet Kune Do.
Yeah.
Um, and I got to the chance to train with him for some, you know, to get a bit more knowledge about Jeet Kune Do and other stuff, other fighting styles. So it wasn't too much time given, I think, but yeah, we all made the best out of it. And there were some actors who actually didn't have any background in martial arts, so they really had to during those 2 3 months they had to like um, work a lot, and I think they did great because um, I think the final results, yeah, I mean, speaks for itself.
It definitely does. It's great action, and it's really gratifying to see real martial artists doing some of this stuff. So it comes across on screen, and I think you guys did a wonderful job. Do you have a favorite scene that you performed in the movie?
I mean, people say that the most outstanding scene was the fatality scene with Kung Lao. That they remember the most,
No
and
spoilers. No spoilers.
no spoilers, but I thought it was pretty cool. Um, yeah, just the combination of visual effects and how the fatality is executed, plus like that favorite line, that that line that
Yeah.
delivers. just it just adds that on top feeling to it. So I really much enjoyed that one.
That's cool. But now, I assume you've watched the movie all the way through several times, at least. Do you have a favorite scene that you enjoy watching just as a fan, not necessarily as Kung Lao or the actor?
Oh, definitely. I have actually two favorite scenes. The first one would be the opening scene with
Wonderful.
Ryuki and Joe Taslim fighting, and then the ending scene, with the rematch. Uh, I think those two scenes gave the film a frame, a strong frame, uh, and a good storyline. I do like it because, especially the first scene, I think the way they shot it was, mostly wide angles and not too much camera movement, and it just shows both of their performances in a very honest way.
Yeah.
And it also gets you emotionally because, I don't, no spoilers again, but people die and you feel for them,
Sure.
and
Sure.
yeah, so I thought it was great.
That's awesome. And your filmmaker's eye coming out there talking about that. But so tell me a little bit more about that because
Mhm.
there's been talks about sequels. Hopefully it happens, spin-offs maybe. What would you, speaking as a filmmaker, what would you like to see in terms of further developing the Mortal Kombat universe?
Well, I've been also reading the reviews, the good and the bad stuff.
Sure.
So I've been taking that all in, and I add my own perspective to it. So to make the fans happy, but also from my standpoint, I think I would love to see more uh, character, um, um, how does like
Development.
yeah, character development, and maybe you don't have to have too many, but just
Sure.
focus on a couple, and really tell their story and get into their background and what their motivation is within the world of Mortal Kombat. I'd love to see that. I would also love to see um, more fight scenes and make them even more yeah, I don't know, I don't know what the word is, but well, get people sucked into the moment even
Yeah, yeah,
more
yeah. Oh
watching
yeah.
it, so without having to cut or anything, like too much cutting, um to because I think like when you have people who can do all those movements, you want to enjoy it and in its
Yeah.
purest form. So editing, cutting, and all of that is kind of a way to get around it if you don't have the talent in front of
Right.
the camera.
Right.
So if you do, then I think you can just let them do the work. You know, I'd love to see more of that.
That's awesome. Yeah, and like I said, I hope it happens. There's so much story left to tell, so many characters to explore, and that would be something that the fans would really dig into and just keep following along as it continues to develop.
Right.
Now, Kung Lao's iconic bladed hat was incredible. It looked great in the movie. You wielded it like a pro. It's like part Captain America's shield, part flying guillotine. um, how did it feel to play with such an awesome toy?
Um, it's amazing because if I wouldn't have that toy, that hat, the character would be like any other character, just like not special. So the hat is what actually eventually makes him outstanding, I think. Um, yeah, I do think that the the hat, in a way, also like whenever Kung Lao puts it on, he doesn't give away too much of his weaknesses, if you want.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it feels almost like he's being very mysterious and hiding some of his qualities or of his character. So I think that's part of the reason why it makes this character so interesting. Um, and in terms of fighting, it's cool because I don't have to think too much about like new movements and stuff. It's all given. It's all out there in the games, and um, yeah, it's pretty good because if I would have played someone else, then I might not have a special power or any. Then I would just have to work with my hands and feet and create something uh, outstanding with that. But you know, this hat helped me so much. Yeah, it's a real yeah.
well, I imagine that it's hard to not feel super cool with that hat on. It just to when you start posing with it and you're looking at yourself and the way that you show up on screen, there's that real sense of that hat's going to do some damage and that dude's a badass.
Right. It's funny. You have to when you wear the hat, you have to like when the camera is filming you, you have to find always the right angle that
Right.
you see your eyes because you don't want to wear it too high. If you wear it too high, it looks kind of silly, like a farmer boy. So you have to kind of wear it like just a little bit above your eyebrows, and then if you tilt too low, then you won't see your face. So it was a constant like. Sometimes Simon was like, "Man, I can't see your like." You know, you have to stand differently, like move your head, and that was funny. Yeah, but I always thought that when I did my research on the character, I was comparing him a bit to uh, the the Western, like the cowboys,
Yeah.
and because they always come off as very cool but also mysterious when they wear cowboy hats, and reminded me a lot of about the westerns. So
Very
I
cool.
go
Very
from
cool.
yeah.
Was it heavy, the actual hat that you had to wear on set, or was it really light?
um It was heavy. It was heavy. It was difficult to fight with it because every time I move, the hat would move too.
Yeah.
So we had to find a way to really fix it onto my head, and that wasn't always we weren't always successful with that. So sometimes we would use like a 3D hat. So
Sure, sure.
I'm basically throwing nothing. But yeah. Um, yeah, I think if we do part two, we have to find a better way the hat during the fight scenes. Then I can do even more.
Awesome, awesome. Now, did you get to keep the hat?
Oh no,
Ah,
wish. I wish.
that would have been a cool keepsake for sure. Um,
Yeah.
now, you're besides being an actor and a filmmaker, you're also a musician, a very talented musician, by the way. You released this awesome music video tied to the whole Mortal Kombat universe. How did that come about?
Um, that's a good question. Well, first of all, I think I just want to not fall into the category of just being like, oh, okay, he's just an action guy. He just knows how to do some movements, but that's about it. I don't want to fall into that category. I think be seen as just an actor in the first place. And so one of the qualities that I also want to show is like, I can perform with my voice as well, so I hope it will show the people that yeah, that it's not that narrow only with the martial arts. Of course, that's the main focus, but yeah. And actually, the lyrics and all of that. I mean, the song is called "Flawless Victory," right? For
Hmm.
those of you who don't know, so I just felt at that time I had to contribute in a way to the movie, maybe. No, but also kind of express a bit what I felt at that moment because like I told you earlier, right? I set myself a goal.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
when I'm 30 and I want to achieve this and that. And so when I did, I felt that I I had to somehow release that and share that energy with someone, and I wanted to get it out of my system. So I wrote the song. So that's what it is.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Tell people where they can go see the video.
Yeah, you guys can watch it on YouTube. I have my own YouTube channel, Max Huang, and you can also stream it anytime on iTunes, Spotify, and the all the streaming services.
Awesome. And then what about you? What do you have going on now that you can talk about?
Interesting question. Right now, I'm just trying to find the right project.
Okay.
I don't want to do. I don't know. I just want to keep up a good level. I think good quality. So um, let's wait and see. But I don't want to rush too much. If there's a good project, then I'm definitely up for it. So yeah, we'll see. There are some projects that I cannot talk about at the moment, but once they're confirmed, then I'll let you guys know.
Awesome. That's awesome. And with all of the skill that you possess, acting, stunts, fight choreography, filmmaking, and music, you can do the entire movie yourself, I'm sure.
Well, thank you, man. But that is one of the goals that I actually have is
I don't doubt it.
to make my own film. Yeah, I'm like a control freak, right? I like to be in control of the movie because yes, being an actor is great because people will see you and you can perform and all that, but the downside of it is you only have that much to say about the final product.
Sure.
So for the future, I think definitely directing, producing, and also acting in one project. Because if there's anyone to blame, you can blame me. Okay, it wasn't good, right? But at least I try and I give it my best. So if someone would give me the chance, I swear I will not disappoint you. So yeah.
Well, you've put it out into the universe before already, so I don't doubt that you've put this out there, and it's going to manifest for you, because that's the kind of spirit that you have, apparently. So best of luck with that, because I don't doubt that whatever you invest that energy into is going to be something spectacular, as you did with Kung Lao and Mortal Kombat. So congratulations on the success of that film. Number one, it's out on HBO Max. It's in theaters. And Kung Lao is super awesome in it. That hat is amazingly cool. So enjoy that, and enjoy Max Huang's performance in it. And I absolutely look forward to whatever else you have going on. So best of luck with everything, and stay healthy. All right.
Oh, thank you, man. Same to you. Stay healthy, and hope to talk to you next time again. When I'm on another project, or yeah, we'll see.
Absolutely. Anytime. I love having you on the show. And whenever they do that Kung Lao spinoff, I'll be that first in line. Appreciate it, man.
Awesome, man. Thank you. Thank you.